wasn't just for Caitlin, but you asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right.
It's just the structure of the way media plays out race.
We were not talking about Caitlin Clark before Angel Reese walked up to her, did this, and pointed.
Basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
They've been coming after Caitlin since she was in college, discounting her impact at every turn. But now, prominent voices are beginning to change the narrative. If you haven't heard what Lisa Leslie just said about Caitlin, it's got the haters shaking in their sneakers. The basketball legend dropped a truth bomb that's got everyone talking, and it's a breath of fresh air. Leslie's words have sent shockwaves through the league, and for good reason. It's not just what she said, it's what it means for the Indiana Fever and the future of women's basketball. Stick around because what Lisa said symbolizes something bigger, a shift in how Caitlin Clark will be covered in 2025 and beyond. The narrative ex-players and media have worked so hard to create about Caitlin Clark is falling apart. And I've got the receipts. But first, subscribe to say thanks to Lisa for going against the old guard's bullshit. Okay, so remember when Caitlin Clark first stepped onto a WNBA court? The hype was insane. It would have been understandable if she didn't live up to it. But Clark's rookie season wasn't just good, it was legendary. She didn't just break records, she obliterated them. Let's talk playmaking. In one jaw-dropping game, Clark dished out a mind-blowing 19 assists. 19.
Is just a lot stronger than the other because of her experience and maturity. Nice look from Clark, and Smith.
That's the WNBA single-game assist record. She was finding teammates in impossible spots, threading needles like a seasoned pro. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Clark set the WNBA single-season rookie record for assists. In the All-Star game, she dropped 10 dimes, the most ever by a rookie. She was redefining what it meant to be a floor general. The hype was justified. And you'd think with all these records falling, everyone would be singing Clark's praises. But instead, she faced a wave of criticism from WNBA veterans. Can you believe it? Here's this rookie, playing out of her mind, and some of the league's legends are giving her the side eye. But here's where Clark's impact gets really wild. She transformed the entire WNBA landscape. Let's talk numbers, and trust me, these will blow your mind. WNBA viewership exploded. We're talking a 300% increase in total TV viewership. Clark's games were pulling in an average of 1.2 million viewers. That's 199% more than non-Clark games. She wasn't just playing basketball, she was putting on a show that America couldn't resist tuning in to watch. And merchandise? Sales jumped by 500%. Clark's jersey became the best-selling WNBA jersey of all time. People weren't just watching, they wanted to wear her name on their backs. The Indiana Fever, Clark's team, saw their attendance skyrocket. They averaged more than 17,000 fans per game, becoming the first team in WNBA history to draw over 300,000 fans in a season. Clark wasn't just filling seats, she was packing arenas. Dr. Ryan Brewer, a valuation expert, crunched the numbers and came to a jaw-dropping conclusion. Clark is responsible for 26.5% of the WNBA's league-wide activity for the 2024 season. That includes attendance, merchandise sales, and television viewership. One player over a quarter of the league's activity. That's not just impressive. That's unprecedented. So, Clark's rookie season wasn't just historic, it was transformative for the entire WNBA.
Sides told us we have got to find a body on Reese. Clark gets freed up.
She didn't just play the game, she changed it. She brought in new fans, boosted sales, and put women's basketball on the map in a way we've never seen before. But here's the million-dollar question. If Clark was so good for the league, why were some legends so quick to criticize? Why the pushback against a player who was clearly elevating the entire sport? It's time to dig deeper and find out what's really going on behind the scenes. Is this what we've come to? Tearing down our own rising stars? That's what Chris Evert, tennis legend, had to say about the shocking backlash against Caitlin Clark. Just when Clark should have been celebrating her incredible rookie season, the knives came out, and you won't believe who was wielding them. Let's talk about Cheryl Swoops, 3-time WNBA MVP, 4-time champion, Olympic gold medalist, basically basketball royalty. She took swings at Clark before her first game and throughout the season. And when Caitlin won Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year award, she immediately tried to discount it.
Cheryl, I'll start with you. What's your reaction to Caitlin Clark winning Time Magazine Athlete of the Year?
I don't think I'm surprised. I'm curious to know who the other candidates were.
But wait, it gets worse. Sheila Johnson, co-owner of the Washington Mystics, threw shade at Time's decision to feature Clark on its cover.
Why do you think that has been the case?
Well, I want to be very diplomatic about this. It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. I'm going to be very honest. I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have, and I think...
Are you kidding me? This is like complaining that Michael Jordan got too much attention in the 90s. It's absurd. But here's where it gets really interesting. These weren't just random comments. It felt like a coordinated effort to take Clark down a peg. The criticism got personal. Real personal. Some commentators even suggested Clark's popularity was more about her race than her talent. Jamel Hill, a prominent sports journalist, said, "We would all be very naive if we didn't say race, and her sexuality play a role in her popularity." That's a loaded statement with serious implications. So what's really going on here? Why are these WNBA legends and media personalities so threatened by a rookie's success? It's simple. Fear. Fear of change. The WNBA has been doing things a certain way for a long time, and Clark represents a seismic shift. Think about it. Clark's shattering expectations of what a WNBA player can be. She's bringing in new fans, driving up viewership, and making people care about women's basketball in a way they never have before. And that scares the heck out of the old guard. But there is hope. Enter Lisa Leslie, a true basketball icon. We're talking 4-time Olympic gold medalist, 2-time WNBA champion, and the first player to dunk in a WNBA game. When Leslie speaks, the basketball world listens. And boy, did she have something to say about Clark. Leslie didn't just give Clark a pat on the back, she called her a game changer for the WNBA. Can you imagine? It's like Michael Jordan giving his stamp of approval to a rookie. That's the kind of endorsement that can change a career. But Leslie wasn't alone in this support squad. Angel McCoughtry, another WNBA superstar, stepped up to the plate. She didn't just defend Clark, she praised the entire younger generation of players for paving the way for future opportunities in women's basketball. And then there's Cynthia Cooper, another WNBA legend, joining the Clark fan club. Cooper didn't just praise Clark. She broadened the conversation, talking about how many high-level players are thrilled with the current state of the game. Now you might be wondering, why is this support so significant? Well, it's not just about defending Clark. It's about recognizing a seismic shift in women's basketball. These WNBA icons are essentially saying the future is here, and its name is Caitlin Clark. This support is exposing something that's been simmering beneath the surface. All that criticism Clark's been facing, a good chunk of it might just be plain old jealousy. When you've got the greats of the game rallying behind a rookie, it makes you question the motives of her critics. Remember when Sheila Johnson talked about Clark creating hard feelings among other players? Well, Leslie and McCoughtry's support is like a slam dunk against that argument. They're showing that Clark's success doesn't diminish anyone else's achievements. It's not about taking the spotlight brighter for everyone. And let's talk about timing. This support came right after Clark was named Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. That's not just a basketball award, that's global recognition. And right when some folks were trying to downplay that achievement, these WNBA legends stepped up. It's like they saw the bigger picture and decided to set the record straight. But here's the real kicker. This support isn't just about defending Clark in the present, it's about embracing the changes she represents. These legends are essentially saying, look, the game is evolving, and that's a good thing. They're not just validating Clark's current success, they're investing in her potential to revolutionize the sport. But wait, it gets better. It's not just the old guard that's stepping up in support of Clark, it's also the next generation of stars. Juju Watkins just dropped a bombshell that's shaking up the basketball world. You won't believe what this USC phenom, who's been setting the court on fire, just said about Caitlin Clark. Watkins isn't just another player, she's a scoring machine who's on track to break Clark's scoring record.
Rebound Watkins.
See what USC can do out of transition. This is where they shine. You put the ball in the hands of Watkins.
Off the hesitation.
But here's where things get wild. When asked about Clark's impact on women's basketball, Watkins didn't just offer a polite nod. She said, "I wish I played like her." Can you believe it? This isn't just respect, it's full-blown admiration from a potential rival. And let me tell you, it speaks volumes. Now let's break this down for a second. Watkins and Clark have different playing styles. Clark's known for her long-range shooting and flashy passes, while Watkins dominates with her explosive drives and mid-range game. Yet here's Watkins, giving Clark the ultimate compliment. It's like LeBron praising Jordan, while he's still chasing his records. Watkins opens up about the pressure of potentially breaking Clark's scoring record. Naturally, being on pace, it's always in the back of my mind, she admits. The goal is to continue to produce at this level and do it as efficiently as I can. You can almost feel the weight on her shoulders, can't you? This isn't just about two players anymore. It's about the changing landscape of women's basketball. Watkins' words carry extra weight because of her own incredible talent. She's not just another fan or commentator. She's a peer, a competitor, someone who understands the game at the highest level, and she's saying loud and clear that Clark is changing the game.
Here's Clark. She fires, and it goes! She hit it!
Think about what this means for Clark. She's been facing criticism from some WNBA veterans, dealing with skeptics who question her impact. But now, she's got rising stars looking up to her, wanting to emulate her game. It's like the ultimate I told you so moment, isn't it? And here's where it gets really interesting. Watkins' praise isn't just about Clark's on-court skills. It's an acknowledgement of Clark's broader impact on the sport. We're talking about a player who's brought in millions of new viewers, skyrocketed merchandise sales, and made women's basketball a topic of national conversation. Watkins sees all that, and she's not afraid to give credit where it's due. But let's not forget, this praise comes with a twist of irony. Watkins, the very player who could potentially overshadow Clark's collegiate achievements, is singing her praises. It's like watching a plot twist in a sports movie, except this is real life, folks. So what does all this mean for Caitlin Clark? Well, it's the ultimate validation. When your fiercest competitors are in awe of your game, you know you're doing something right. It's like getting a standing ovation from the opposing team's bench. Clark's impact on women's basketball is undeniable, and now we have proof straight from one of the game's brightest young stars.
On 10 toes, pump fake, and then get your shot off. That's a three. Juju Watkins is into double figures with 11. Yeah.
And as I mentioned, I think this is the start of a shift that I think will continue through 2025 and beyond. At some point, it's going to be impossible to deny Caitlin's greatness and impact. Here's why. Caitlin Clark's potential MVP season is about to explode, and the Indiana Fever are pulling out all the stops to make it happen. The Fever just dropped a game-changing bombshell, a $78 million sports performance center that's going to not only help Clark's game, but the game of her supporting cast. We're talking 108,000 square feet of basketball paradise, custom-built for female athletes. 2 regulation courts, a state-of-the-art kitchen, and recovery facilities that'll make you think you're at a luxury spa. But this isn't just about fancy digs. The Fever brought in Stephanie White as their new head coach, and she's got big plans for Clark. With White's experience and vision, Clark's game is about to reach a whole new level. Clark's taking a smart approach to the offseason. Instead of running herself into the ground, she's skipping the unrivaled league to rest and recharge. This break could be the secret weapon that propels her to MVP status. A well-rested Clark with a full season of WNBA experience under her belt? That's a scary thought for the rest of the league. But this isn't just about Clark padding her stats. It's about turning her individual brilliance into team success. The Fever aren't just building around Clark, they're building a contender. And that's where things get really exciting. To win MVP in the WNBA, you've got to be more than good. You've got to dominate in points, assists, rebounds, the whole package, but your team has to be winning too. With all these pieces falling into place, the Fever are setting Clark up for a transformative season.
30 to go in the first quarter. Clark looking to turn the corner, lays it in, plus the foul.
Think about it. A cutting-edge facility that caters to her every need, a coach who knows how to maximize her talents, a year of pro experience, and a team that's all in on her success. It's the perfect recipe for basketball greatness. Can Clark silence her critics once and for all? Despite her accomplishments, there are still doubters out there. People who say she's overhyped, that she can't lead a team to victory. This season could be her ultimate response. Imagine Clark not just putting up monster numbers, but leading the Fever on a deep playoff run. Picture her elevating her team to new heights, turning Indianapolis into the basketball capital of the world. That's the kind of season we could be looking at. And let's not forget the bigger picture. Clark's success isn't just about her or the Fever. It's about the entire WNBA. Every time she steps on the court, she's bringing new eyes to the game, inspiring the next generation of players, and changing the conversation about women's sports. This upcoming season isn't just about an MVP award, it's about cementing Clark's legacy as a game changer for women's basketball. Caitlin Clark is revolutionizing women's basketball, and her impact is undeniable. The old guard are beginning to give her more praise, and even her future rivals, like USC's Juju Watkins, are speaking highly of her, and they should. Clark's ability to turn women's basketball into must-see TV is reshaping the WNBA's future. Her electrifying play and growing fan base is the catalyst the league needs to reach new heights. As Clark continues to break barriers and inspire the next generation, we're witnessing history in the making.